Dude, I'm still like unbelievably excited for so on. Sorry guys, I'm just catching up on like the news. Sorry guys, I'm just like catching up on like the news. Sorry guys, just like sorry guys, just let me know if like there's any like audio. Just let me know if there are like any sort of issues or like any. Just like let me know if there are like any like audio issues or like anything of this sort. Okay, so let's actually like okay. Yeah. The chat. Let's see if I can get the chat here. Sign into chat. That's. Hold on. I'm trying to just set up chat in OBS so I don't have to like keep looking at my other laptop. Complete sign in using Thoski. Use your fucking hell. Use your password. What's my YouTube password? bullshit, man. 0GR. I can just do this. 0GR. This better work. Okay. Just set up chat in the OBS so I don't have to like keep looking. Alright, cool. Looks all configured to be. That should be good. Yeah, looks good. Good. Okay. Hi, Emma. Good to see you here, my friend. I'm doing okay. I'm just very, very sleep deprived today, but other than that, all is good. We're gonna do some fun music things, you know? So, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait a little while longer. Want to see if I can get. To see if I can just get like maybe 3 to 5 people, and then as soon as I hit 3, we will begin with our instruction. Yeah. Okay, it seems like I already have 3. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. So, what do you guys say? Do you think we should we start? I think we should, honestly. Yeah, no, let's totally do it. Let's totally do it. What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well wherever it is, wherever you guys are in the world. I'm currently sitting here in West Texas, literally the most, or one of the most boring parts in the United States. But you know, life takes you to strange places. So let's get right to it, actually. So before anything, let's do a recap of what I covered or what I went over last time, right? So what we're currently working on is a mix that presently sounds like this. That's actually the first 30-ish seconds of my song Colorblind on my EP called Revision. Go listen to it if you haven't already. It's pretty dope. But yeah. So anyway, let's do a recap of what we did last time, right? Just a quick one, right? So we're using Steven Slate Drums 5.5, I believe, right? It's free. You can download it off their website. And this is our kit, right? Just a hi-hat, splash, left crash, right crash, China, ride, snare, kick, and we're using just 3 DOMs over here. I've disabled one, right? So we selected or we used this particular kit configuration, and then we routed everything straight out of the plugin into individual tracks, right? And the way I have it set up here is we have one for our kick, one for snare, one for hi-hats, one for ride. All of the DOMs, all 3 DOMs over here are going into one single track. I would ordinarily recommend against routing all of your DOMs into just like one track because, like, all shells are structurally different, they're sonically different, and ideally you should route each and every single shell into a track of its own and process accordingly. But I'm going to be a bit lazy here, so this should just be enough to sort of illustrate just the core points or concepts, right? And what else do we have? We have one track for overheads and one for the room, right? So what we did last time was we processed just the kick and snare direct mics, right? And by direct mics, I mean just the sort of tracks that we used to route each of these things into, right? Now, if you guys need a crash course on what was done insofar as all of this processing is concerned, go watch the reel I posted maybe a couple of weeks ago on how everything was processed, right? I have everything. Everything is included in it, right? It's all very, very nicely condensed. So let's first, once again, let's not listen to everything. Let's just solo the drums out and let's hear what everything sounds like. Good enough for now. Good enough for now, right? So right now, only the kick and snares have been processed, right? First of all, let's maybe do the hi-hats, right? So as far as just a direct mic is concerned, right? I'll explain the difference if you don't already know. I will explain the difference between direct mics, overheads, and room mics, right? But all you need to know for now is a direct mic is literally, as the term suggests, a direct mic, right? Like, if I were to perhaps use a visual aid over here, right? Imagine you see where this hi-hat is, right? Imagine that there is a microphone there's a microphone adjacent to it, right? So as to just pick up the hi-hat directly, right? As the term itself would imply, right? So there's not really much that needs to be done for hi-hats, right? Because for the most part, it's like very sort of upper range kind of stuff, right? So this isn't even, it's not strictly necessary, but what you could do is maybe just give it a bit of a high shelf, right? And a high shelf just means, hold on, let's just loop this for a sec. Right, a high shelf. Fuck. Okay. A high shelf just means doing something like this. Let's find... Good enough. Good enough, right? And we'll do something similar for the ride as well. So, yeah. Again, the ride also gets a direct mic. It also gets a direct mic ordinarily. Another high shelf, so... In fact, I'm not going to high shelf this. I'm going to do a broadish notch boost instead. That sounds good. And I also would like to make a bit of a cut around here because I'm hearing a bit of crap in this region here. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me just crank this up a little bit. Yeah, let's make this really loud just for a second. Oh, that's very harsh and very resonant, so let's maybe cut a bit out. Not too much, not too much. I don't want to do that much. Maybe... About this much is okay. And let me just maybe not exaggerate this boost as much, right? So that's good. That's good for now. I'm going to make this a little... No, I'm not going to make this loud right now. And there's a good reason for that. So whatever. We're done with hi-hats. We're done with ride for now. And what else do we need to do? DOMs. Yeah. So again, all DOMs also get their own sort of respective direct mics, right? Again, let me reiterate. I am being a lazy fuck right now, and I'm routing all of them to one single track. Ordinarily, you shouldn't do this. Every DOM should get its own track, right? But I'm not doing that here. Okay, so let's see. Where the hell were the DOMs? Oh, I think it was this part here. Oh, that's loud as shit. Oh shit, hang on. That's loud as hell. Let's fix that for a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the plugin instance itself and just make all of the volume adjustments within it. Sounds okay for now. Right, we might have to go back and revisit those levels, but for now, that's okay. Alright, and let's process our DOMs for a second over here. Right, so the thing with DOMs is, I don't know. Let's see what the thing with DOMs is. And remember that EQ cheat sheet over here? I need to post this on my story, actually, because I totally forgot to, right? Again, we're just using these as... we're using this as a set of guidelines, right? So let's see. For DOMs, what do we need to do? We need to make... Let's first make some cuts, right? So we want to cut 150 to 300-ish for mud, and 700 to 900 for that sort of boxy, honky sound, right? So let's loop this for a second here, right? So it's telling us let 150 to 300 for mud. Oh yeah, I can definitely hear it. Yeah. Okay. So the guidelines are suggesting 150 to 300 for mod. I'm personally hearing it in sort of this. In my ears, it's actually closer to this 105-ish hertz region, right? So I'm, um, yeah, around here. Yes, definitely here. So I'm going to make a very liberal 4 decibel cut here, right? In fact, I don't even mind uh, broadening this a bit. So we're making an EQ cut here, and then what is the next thing we need to do? Hold on. Sorry, I haven't seen the chat in a hot second here. Let me just make sure. Who made this EQ cheat sheet? Let me just segue and tell you or show you exactly where I found it, right? Because I will not take credit for it, obviously, but I think it's worth actually showing you the source material for it. Oops. How do I see my? Oh yeah, playlists. Let's see. Let's see exactly where I found it or who this dude was. No, it wasn't Seat to Stage. It was somebody else. God damn it! I thought I had it saved here somewhere. Damn, dude, I genuinely cannot find it right now. I swear to God, I thought I had a bunch of his videos saved here in this playlist. But, no, it wasn't Spinlight Studio. यार मैं भूल गया हूँ कि ये कौन था बंदा अल्लाह का बंदा यार. Yeah, no, I'm really sorry, but as soon as I remember, I'll let you know. Yeah, but anyway, sorry about that. Let's get back to it. Sorry, just yeah. Anyway, so we made this cut, this 111-ish cut over here. That's where I was hearing a lot of mud, and then 700 to 900 for that boxy kind of sound, right? By the way, I almost always, regardless of whatever I'm mixing, okay, whether it's percussion, whether it's guitar, bass, even synthesizers, right? I usually almost always tend to actually make cuts within sort of this 600 to 1000 hertz region because over the years I've realized that like it's pretty fucking useless, honestly. Like it's just gunk, right? So like I would suggest you try doing the same and seeing if it makes a noticeable and productive difference to your mixes. So let's hear this. Let's broaden this a bit, actually. Yeah, definitely here. So at about 650-ish hertz, right? That's where I'm going to make a 3 decibel cut. Sweet. Now, with the cuts out of the way, let's do compression now. So it is telling us to do slow attack and fast release, right? Now, a slow attack and fast release means what that means verbally is emphasize the transients, right? By using slow attack, fast release, you sort of give the transients more presence. So let's enact that actually. So let's bring in a compressor. So I'm actually going to aim for what might be considered an irrational amount of gain reduction. I'm going to go for like 10 decibels of gain reduction, just as a starting point for now. Yep, that sounds about right. And now for attack, hold on. Let's make this a little louder. Notice when I bring the attack all the way down, it sounds like there are like no transients, like it sounds squashed. But when I bring it back up, you can actually hear everything. But if the attack time is that high, then like that's too long of a time. That's too much of a time window for the compression to even set in if it's like 1 second, right? So gotta play around with this a bit. Okay, I'm okay with 25-ish seconds of attack time for now, and fast release. Okay, fast release. Okay, that's not bad. Let's bring this threshold down just a little bit. That's okay for now. And with the compression out of the way, what else? Okay, now we have quite a few boosts to make. Quite a few boosts to make over here. So 120 to 200 for low end. Okay, so this cheat sheet, built into this cheat sheet's assumptions is that all DOMs are being routed to one single track, right? So I guess I'm not the only lazy producer out there. So let's start affecting these changes. So what do we have here? So it says about fucking A. It says about 120 to 200 for that low end, 70 to 90. Sorry, for the rack DOM, and then 70 to 90 for that. Okay, let's do the 70 to 90 boost first. Yeah, 7090 is actually perfect because like if you're actually because if you pay attention to like the spectrogram over here, right, you will find that there are actually fundamentals over here, right? And especially when you're dealing with like kicks and toms and just like low frequency components in general, if you really want to emphasize them, you want to boost the fundamentals, right? So we're going to give a nice, generous, very generous 5 decibel boost over here. Maybe not 5, more like 4 point. About this much is good, right? So yeah, let's tighten this up a little more. Yeah. That's good enough. And that will take care of the floor tom. And let's see what else. As for the rack tom, right? Or the rack toms rather, right? So again, just to give you guys some perspective again, there's only one rack tom actually, and I have 2 floor toms in this setup, right? So let's see. Okay. Paying attention to the spectrogram over here, right? What I can see here is the presence of 2 fundamentals, right? So there's a fundamental over here, right? And that corresponds to the rightmost floor tom, right? Which is sort of the most lowly tuned of the toms, right? And there's also another fundamental around over here, right? So let's give, and that fundamental over here corresponds to the second of the floor toms, right? Or at least it should. So let's give this a bit of a boost as well. Oh yeah, there it is. Sounds good. Sounds very good, actually. And 4.5 kh hertz for attack, 8 kh hertz for attack. Okay, sure. Let's do that. So 4.5-ish kHz for attack. So yeah, there it is. What would be the major difference in each piece's router? What would be the sorry, Faiz, let me just God, OBS is such a fucking pain. Okay. What would be the major difference if each piece is routed to separate tracks, or if I do the editing inside the plugin? Okay. So let's get to your second question first. If you do the editing inside the plugin instead of in Ableton. Okay, so with this plugin specifically, right, with Steven Slate, I don't think, or at least this is the free version of it, right? You actually cannot do any editing inside it, right? Even if you go to this mix knob over here, right? Like, you'll notice that like there aren't really, or there isn't really a whole lot of options for anything besides maybe just like controlling volumes and like routings, right? So now if you were using something like Easy Drummer or Superior Drummer or Addictive Drums, or you like, you know, these full-fledged suites that offer all of these tools, then you could do everything inside the plugin, and then there probably won't even be any need to route into Ableton or any DAW you use, right? Yeah, no, if it's something like Superior or Addictive or even like Modern and Massive too, or like, you know, any like real sort of industry grade level plugin that actually offers you all the tools to do all of your processing within the plugin, then there's no need. Yeah. So with Superior Drummer, dude, like there's little to no need to route out into your DAW. I mean, you still could if you so desired, right? I mean, like, if you, it boils down to a matter of preference, right? I mean, if you would rather mix using plugins that you like or plugins that you're familiar with, then you have that option. But Superior Drummer, for instance, like has the last time I used it was a while ago. It has incredible inbuilt tools of its own that you can use. So there's really no need, right? But with Steven Slate, what we're using, right? It's a free plugin. Obviously, like features are limited, so we don't have any other choice but to route everything individually. Is there any difference in the stereo field if all is being summed in one track or if it's in... No, no. There's no difference. There's no difference whatsoever. Not as far as I'm aware. No. Just as long as you make sure everything is routed in a consistent way, and especially if you need to also make sure that your overheads in your rooms and like these mics are also correctly routed, right? Then there is no difference whatsoever. So yeah, let me just take a quick bathroom break and I'll be back. Yeah, not at all, not at all. Yeah. By the way, for the record, even if I were using something like Superior, right? Which I probably wouldn't because I'm so used to using like GGD products at this point. Um, even if I were using Superior, I would still route everything in exactly the same manner I'm showing, because I'm so used to like this Ableton workflow that like I cannot do anything without this all of this shit over here, right? Plus like all of my some of my plugins over here. So like yeah, no, I mean like I'm a bit of a control freak in that regard, and I like doing things exactly the way I'm accustomed to. So yeah, bit of a double-edged sword, but everybody's workflow is different, I guess. All right, anyway, so where were we? So yeah, oh yeah, so 4.5K ish and 8K ish boosts, right? Ooh, this is a tough choice. I'm actually going to do a 4.2-ish. Okay, maybe not that much, but yeah, I'm going to do a bit of a boost at about 4.2-ish. And then let's make that 8K boost. Let's see. Oh, I'm not even going to actually, because I'm just hearing clicks. Like there's no meaningful audio content here. So like I'm actually not even going to do that. I'm just going to make that single. I might as well broaden this in that case. And I'll center it around here, right? How about that? Yeah, that sounds pretty okay to me. We can be... Okay, cool. That's starting to sound much punchier now. Definitely much punchier now. And what else can we do? I guess we could add maybe we could add some saturation. Let's add a bit of saturation. Why not? Just to thicken it up. I'm just gonna do an analog clip. Now I'm just gonna do like 3-ish decibels and maybe bring this down a bit. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, awesome. So, we're done with all of this stuff, right? Let's now go to our overheads, actually. So, just as a reminder, right? So the overheads. Sorry, hang on. Now, unlike direct mics, right? Now, the term direct mic is very suggestive and in a very obvious way, right? Overheads are really no different, right? So I'm sure you already know this, but just in case anybody else might be here. Overhead mics are literally overhead mics, and their purpose is really just to capture the shimmery symbol content, right? And they sound like this, right? I'm sure you know this. I'm sure you know this, Vise, but I'm just doing this for the sake of just being thorough. Yeah, that's literally just symbols and maybe some like kick and dom transients, right? But that's about it. But symbols, right? So this is where we bring all of our symbols to life, right? So let's get right to it, right? So this is how I like to do my overheads, right? So first of all, actually, no. We're not going to raw dog this. We're going to use guidelines. So it's telling us for overheads, do a 12 hertz high shelf. And it's telling us to high pass 200 hertz or higher, 400. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do exactly that, right? So let's first make all the recommended cuts. Yeah, anyway. I'm going to make this very steep. All right, cool. That's a high pass, and then we want to make a 400 to 700 hertz-ish cut. Let's do that. 400 to 700 hertz, right? Again, we're getting rid of boxiness. That sounds good to me, right? And most of that boxiness really just comes from the toms and the kick. So cool, we've gotten rid of that. Let's actually broaden this a little bit and shift the center. Oh, perfect. And we're told to do a 12K-ish hertz high pass, right? Now this region is really where the sheen and the brilliance of the symbols lie. So 12k hertz, right? I'm actually gonna roll this back a bit. Alright, I'm gonna do about 11.4, and I'm gonna give a very generous boost. In fact, I'm gonna do 5 decibels. Awesome. Okay, so that sounds good to me. And what else are we told to do? Medium to fast attack, add fast release. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And this is for compression, obviously. Yeah, so let's throw on our compressor here, medium to fast attack. Oh, also, by the way, for overheads, feel free to go a little insane with compression. It actually does, or at least what results tends to sound pretty good, generally. Okay, maybe not that much, but yeah, about that much. And medium to fast would mean, oops. There we go, yeah. And what if the release time? Fast release, okay, fast release. Cool. Very nice, very nice. The symbols are cutting through. Okay, I need to get a good direct mic volume with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the plugin and I'm going to go to the mixer tab. I'm going to click the hi-hat. I'm going to reduce the overhead send volume. Okay. I'm also going to maybe play around with the hi-hat panning a little bit. Left 40, ooh, that's a bit too much. Let's make it more like left 20. That's better, I don't mind going. Yeah, there we go. And as for the ride, let's solo the ride out for a second. Okay, this definitely needs more direct mic volume. Yeah, let's... Okay, that's insanely loud in the overhead bus. Let's hear how this sounds. Cool, cool, cool. This, that's sounding pretty clean to me. I don't know about you. All right, overheads taken care of. Let's go to what, in my opinion, is the most important. Besides parallel compression, for getting your drums to really smack you in the motherfucking face. Because for this kind of music, you want your drums to really smack you. And all of that smack is contained within the rooms, right? The room mics, right? So the room mics, just for perspective, again, as implied by just the term, these are mics that are placed far away, relatively far away from the kit itself, and more towards sort of the corners of the room containing your kit, and they capture the ambience of everything. So let's just hear what it sounds like, or let's just hear what the room mic sounds like for a sec. Very ambient. Okay, so what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to first of all increase the snare room mic send volume. Now, let's get right to it. Where the hell was it again? What is it telling us to do for room mics? It's telling us, as far as EQing goes, 150 to 300 for buds, 8K above for harshness. Cool, cool. Let's do this. Let's go to our room mic, and 150 to 300 for mud, right? So let's first cut that. And 8K and above for harshness, right? So let's low shelf this. I'm also going to make a very, very slight cut within sort of, I'm going to make a very slight and broad cut centered at 1K. Just about this much. Sounds okay for now. And what do we need to do next? Ah, yes, compression. And this is where the magic lies. Now read this. Fast attack, fast release, compress hard to bring out ambience. Now, my friends, if you've never seen this before, if you've never seen this being implemented before, watch this. Just fucking watch this and see the fucking difference it makes, right? So we're gonna go crazy. We're gonna do like negative 20 dB of gain reduction. 1 millisecond. Let's use these settings and let's bring the ratio up. Let's make it 6:1 actually. Okay, now with that done, all that's left is to now 80 hertz for low end and 5 to 8 for presence, right? So let's throw on another EQ. Let's boost 80 hertz a bit, the 80-ish hertz region. Very hard to hear, actually. But where's the fundamental? Fundamental is about, yeah, it's about here. Right? I'm not going to make a huge boost. I'm just going to do 2-ish decibels, right? And then it's at between 5 and 8,000, right? So let's do that as well. It's probably very hard to hear, especially if you're not using headphones, but I think this sounds good. I don't mind bringing this up a little. Okay, let's bring this up a little bit, just in volume. Whoa, 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 whoa. It needs to be brought up. Yeah, it's just not loud enough. Oh, hell. A little too loud, a little too loud. Okay. Now I want you to hear this first without everything we've done here. And with everything now. Huge difference. Huge difference. I mean, like, my God. My God. Huge difference. You can maybe lower this a little bit. Do you hear that snare? That snare is finally alive now, right? But what we need to do, maybe, is just... That's already starting to sound much more alive, but we do need to make some cuts. Okay, we do definitely need to make some cuts to this room, right? Because the symbols are sounding very, very harsh, right? But otherwise, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there for sure. Very harsh frequency there. And I'm going to make another cut somewhere. No, this is okay, actually. Oh, yeah. Turn it off and show the difference. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Absolutely, absolutely. So, again, let's do it. So, check this out. So, this is with the room mic enabled as well, but without this processing chain enabled. And now, with the chain enabled. There you go, man. There you go. I mean, like, I'm assuming you're using headphones right now, so, like, you should be able to hear how much of a difference that makes. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, that's what's up. I mean, maybe, I mean, like, obviously, I mean, it can be improved upon, no shit. But for now, this represents a pretty decent starting point. Let's turn this up even more, actually, and see how this sounds. I'm also going to route the kick in. I'm going to also increase the kick room send volume a bit. You hear it. I mean, hopefully you hear it, but like at least in my ears, that makes a hell of a difference, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much for now, we've pretty much taken care of, at least in my opinion, I think we've taken care of all of the routing, right? Kick, snare, hi-hats, ride. I mean, like, we kind of half-assed our way through the hi-hats and the ride and shit, but, like, you know, I'm not gonna fuss over them too much. One more thing you could do, one more thing we could do with the overheads, right? And this should come as no surprise, is we could throw on some saturation, right? And let's actually do the sinoid foil. Let's use the sinoid foil model and see how this sounds. Does that sound good to you, man? Because if you have any other suggestions or any other queries or concerns, I'll wait for a sec before I get to bus processing and parallel compression, right? Because we're still not quite done. In fact, maybe about another 40%. We're about 60% of the way there. There's still 40% to go, but like, yeah. Let me know, man. Yeah. Yeah, so far so good, man. So far so good. So, let's start doing drum bus processing, right? And what this basically means is we're now going to try and work on the entire track itself. First thing we're going to do, first order of business. First order of business. Now, I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to reference actually what I use for my GGD processing, right? So let's actually, let me copy paste what I use for my GGD drum bus, and let's see how that sounds for starters, right? That's a bit too intense. That's a bit too intense. Hold on. Now, let me show you what I have going on in this chain of effects, right? First of all, I have an EQ, and with this EQ, let's work sequentially for a second, right? Let me just collapse everything. So first of all, we have an EQ, a parametric EQ, and let's see what is happening over here. So I have a bit of a boost going on in this region, and this is just to enhance the subs. That sounds good. This over here, again, is to cut out that god-awful, like, 500 to 1000 ish hertz kind of ballpark honk, right? Because I'm telling you that shit will fucking ruin your mixes, okay? I will reiterate, cut out 500 to 1000 ish hertz uh, frequency content as much as you possibly can, regardless of whatever you're working with, okay? I'm telling you that's where the majority of your fucking kachura lies, okay? Like, just cut it out as much as you possibly can. Let's tighten this up a bit. There's not too much trash here. Yeah, let's cut that out. I'm also going to make a cut around here. Again, the 150 to 300 ish hertz region. Not as extreme of a cut, but a little bit nonetheless. Maybe 2 decibels. What else can I do? I shouldn't be boosting anything at this point. I mean, no, I shouldn't be making a boost at least at this point. So let's leave this for now. Let's actually see what else we can cut. Let's see what else sounds like shit. Ooh, yeah, something very harsh there. And just a 2 dB cut. That's good. That's good for now. Okay. So again, I've just made a few cuts. That's, well, 1 boost and a few cuts. That's about it. Then I have a glue compressor, right? And sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. The fucking chat thing on OBS is fucked. I'm so sorry. I'm seeing this so late. Oh, sample reinforcement. Of course, dude. Of course, I sample reinforce. Yeah. There's no way you can. There's no way to get your mixes to sound punchy if you don't reinforce at least the kick and the snare, especially the snare. But yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not going to do that here. But no, totally. Sample reinforcement is absolutely, like, it goes without saying, like, it needs to be done with this kind of music. Yeah. If we have time, I can actually, like, maybe later show you an example of how I've used sample reinforcement in the past. But again, just to answer your question, yes, I 100% like to stack kicks and I like to stack snares. Anyway. Let's see. Okay. Now, glue compression. Right? Now, glue compression basically, you see, that's one thing I really like about music production, because, like, all of this terminology is just so, like, a lot of, like, the terminology is so self-explanatory. Like, glue compressor. Like, what do you think a glue compressor does? It glues everything together, right? So our drum bus is comprised of several different elements, right? With sort of frequency content, with a variety of frequency content, right? So what a glue compressor will allow us to do is get everything, just with respect to volume levels, to sort of gel together or mesh together in a consistent manner, right? So again, as the term implies, glue compressor, it'll glue everything together. So let's see what I used for this glue compressor here. So without and with. Right, yeah. Again, without. Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell, but without the glue compressor, again, now without the glue compressor, the symbols and basically just the overheads, right? They're significantly quieter than the shells, right? The shells being the kick, snare, and toms and whatnot, right? With the glue compressor, the volumes have become much more consistent with respect to each other, right? Now they're matching, right? Plus the glue compressor, or at least like glue compression also does play a part in like sort of breathing a bit more life into transients, right? So like yeah, no, definitely you need to use a glue compressor, right? Goes without saying. Yeah. As for my glue compression settings, I am doing one. I think I'm doing. Is this 1 millisecond of attack time, right? Which is fairly moderate. In fact, maybe I can bump it up to 3 milliseconds. I think 3 milliseconds works pretty well. As for release time, right? This is 0.8 milliseconds. Uh, yeah, 0.8 milliseconds sounds okay. Sounds okay. As for ratio, 4 is pretty safe. And don't aim for more than 4 decibels of compression on a bus, because anything more than that, it's going to sound squash. Anything less than that, and you're not going to get the intended effect, right? So in Ableton, you have this lovely option where you can actually threshold your gain reduction, right? So I'm doing about 4.8, and then use makeup gain just to sort of compensate for volume, and then yeah. So that's the glue compressor, right? And then some saturation. Oh shit, what the hell? Okay, this isn't even doing anything. What the hell? Whatever, let's add some saturation. Maybe let's add like 4 decibels. It's totally imperceptible to me. I mean, honestly speaking, I don't even know why I loaded. I don't even know why I included this, but I guess it's here, so like whatever. Let's maybe bump it up to like 8 dB and see what it sounds like. Yeah, 8 decibels. Yeah. Yeah, it's distorting now. It's distorting now. In fact, maybe we don't even need the saturator, so let's just like disable it. Okay. EQ, glue compressor. I need to quit vaping at some point in my life. Anyway, so let's just A/B whatever we have so far. Without and with. Hell of a difference, right? Still, we're not quite done. There's still a bit to go. Bathroom break. I'll be back. Okay, cool. Where were we? Okay, right. So this is what we have so far on our bus. It's already sounding really good. It's already sounding really, really good. But we still have ways to go, right? So let's actually get rid of this instance of the saturator. I don't think we have any use for it. Now, so besides the room mic, right? Now the room mic is really what brings out sort of the ambience and the punch, right? But that's not even the most important. That's not even the most important aspect. The most important aspect is actually parallel compression, right? And what basically parallel compression is, um, in the context of drums, is taking a dry signal, right? Even though this isn't technically a dry signal, but it's taking um, a pre-existing signal and blending it with a super compressed version, right? And the parallel compress or the compressed fraction of the sort of chain is squashed like nobody's business, right? And that brings out even more punch. And in the context of a modern metal or modern rock mix, I mean, like I think they're very, very. I don't think there are really any sort of like punchy mixes that don't utilize parallel compression, right? Now, there are a couple of ways to achieve parallel compression, right? The smart way is not the way I'm doing it here, right? Because the way I'm doing it over here is I'm routing all of my drums into sort of one chain with a shit ton of compression, right? Most people, as far as I'm aware, don't do it like that, right? And I think that's actually, I, I think the practical way or the smart way to go about parallel compression is to let's do it from scratch, right? So if you're in Ableton, right, make a return track, right? Let's color code this and make it somewhat distinct from the others, right? Let's make it, I don't know, let's make it white. Okay. Then on this return track, we are going to throw in an instance of compression and we're going to bring it all the way the fuck down, right? Now, the reason for this is because now we have the option to route as much of any individual kit component as we would like into this send track over here. And it would be something like this. So for starters, let's do our kick, right? Because like the kick and the snare are really the most important components within sort of the parallel compression subroutine here. So let's go about it. Yeah. Oh, shit, my bad. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're in Ableton, and with parallel compression, go crazy with it. Do like 25-ish dB of gain reduction. Bring the attack time down to like 0.3 if you so desire, and bring the release all the way down. Maybe not all the way down, but like about this much, right? Same for the snare. You fucking hear that, man. You fucking hear that. Right? Now, without... Sorry, without... And now with. Again, without. And with. Without. With. Right off the bat, you can tell how much of a difference this is making, right? This is now finally adding those final or those last bits of polish to our kick and our snare, right? And we can do the same for hi-hat, ride, and everything else, right? So this is one way to do it, right? This is one way to do parallel compression. And in fact, as far as I'm aware, just to reiterate, this is how most people do it. I personally don't do it like this, right? Here's how I do it. So I'm going to disable this. I'm just going to keep this on, and I'll call it par comp return, right? Whatever. The way I do it is I will load up an audio effect rack, right? And I don't mind doing this from scratch just to show you how it's done. And I will make 2 chains, right? I will call one dry in I'll call one dry in parentheses, even though it's technically not a dry, and I will call one parallel, right? So the dry signal really is just whatever it is we have up till this point. And the parallel signal, I'm just going to copy paste whatever I had for my parallel compression settings. In fact, I don't mind reusing what I had here. Yeah. And let's make this a different color. And I put it here, right? So, oof, 30. Right? So what this parallel compression, or at least what this is doing, is this sort of parallel, or this particular chain over here is applying a stupid amount of compression to everything within the kit, right? Not just the kick and snare, but the hats, the ride, the overheads, the room, and everything. That's personally just how I like to do it, right? And I think it sounds great, right? At least just to my ears, right? So, yeah. Again, just load up an audio effect rack, make 2 chains, make 1 dry, don't add anything to this, and then to your parallel, add compression, right? I'm just going to get rid of this, and let's use whatever it is I have here, which is more or less the same, right? Dry, parallel compression. I'm going to make this a different color, right? And within this, what's happening here? Let's bump up the compression a bit. So, soloing the parallel compression track out, or chain out, this is what it sounds like. It sounds totally and utterly destroyed, degraded, and squashed, right? But that's the point, right? Because the point is to blend that in with this. Now, just dial in some ballpark settings, right? Typically, you want a low attack because you're okay with killing all the transients, right? Remember, low attack just means fewer transients, right? And as for the release time, sonically, a smaller release just really means... God, how do I explain? Release time is actually harder to explain. I guess you just have to use your ears and like just play around. But the attack is more straightforward to interpret. But the release is, at least in my opinion, somewhat more nebulous. But yeah. Okay, so the lower the release time, the more squashed it sounds, and the higher, the more organic, right? So let's play around with release. That sounds good to me. That sounds good to me, at least for now, right? Now, let's start blending in this paracomp in with the dry signal, right? So let's bring this all the way down and use our ears. Awesome, awesome. The kick and snare really come to life. The only thing that we need to do is we need to play around with the overhead volumes, right? Or all of the cymbals, because the cymbals are now getting a little too loud. So just open up the Steven Slate plugin and go to and let's maybe bring down the overhead volumes a bit. Let's bring this down to maybe -6. Let's bring this down to like maybe let's bring it down to -8. Right. Now at this point, all you really need to do is just open up the instance of Steven Slate and play around with these overhead and room mic volumes, right? Just in case we may have forgotten, right? Steven Slate offers us 2 different room mic options, right? I'm only using one. I've disabled room B, right? We're just using one room mic, right? We don't need 2 room mics for this, right? So let's hear out the sounds. Okay, let's maybe bring this down a bit. Let's bring it down to -8 maybe. So Float Leaf wants to hear tabla. What do I say to Float Leaf? Because I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time he was here, he really derailed my train of thought. What I can say to Float Leaf is maybe hang around for a little while longer. Let me finish this and then we'll get to tabla. In fact, Float Leaf, all jokes aside, I actually have come up with something pretty cool with that tabla sample. Just shut the fuck up for 1 second and let me finish this and then we'll come back to it. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, the cymbals, the room mic could use maybe Yeah, really, at this point, just the cymbals are just way too fucking loud. I think it's really the room mic volume. The room mics need to be brought down a little bit. Not bad so far, not bad so far, but that's sort of how I would sort of enact parallel compression in a nutshell. For the record, I would EQ stuff out, just to make some cuts and stuff, but I'm not going to do that here. You can do that for yourself. Just find frequencies you don't like, find harsh frequencies. In fact, I'll do it just for one. I'll do it just for once, right? But as a rule of thumb, you should now be more or less like acquainted with sort of how it works. We'll find just one band that we don't like and cut it out. The cymbals are still a little too loud in my opinion, but whatever, I'm okay with it. Go ahead and fix it for yourself as far as I'm concerned. Right? Now, let's, now that we're done with the parallel compression, right? Remember, this bus follows a sequence, right? First we did, some EQing here just to make a boost and got some shit out. Then we did we added some glue compression. Then we did a parallel compression. Next up, I had a saturator, but actually before the saturator, again, I know you're an Ableton user. If you're on Ableton 12, I think maybe 11 has this, but then again, look for Drum Bus. Now, Drum Bus is a phenomenal plugin, in my opinion. Throw on Drum Bus, and the reason we're going to use Drum Bus is to actually emphasize some. I think the kick needs a bit more life, right? So let's give the kick a bit more life, right? You need to be careful with this plugin. It's extremely dank. So yeah. No. Let's add it before. Okay, so what this Drum Bus plugin really just does is, so there's a couple of parameters here. There's crunch, there's boom, there's damp, and then there's this frequency, right? So crunch is really just distortion added to a certain frequency specified by a low pass. I think it's a low pass cutoff, right? I'm setting it at 20,000 hertz. So basically, the entire frequency spectrum is covered by it, right? And I'm not adding any crunch, right? Actually, I don't even know why I went into this, but no crunch. But as for boom, we're going to add some of that, right? And the cutoff is set at, let's do 70 hertz, actually. Yeah. No, actually, no. 70 hertz is good, yeah. Yeah. And the transients is really like this knob over here is really why I loaded this plugin in the first place, right? I mean, like under the hood, it does some magic, and like when you bring this up, it brings out like the kick, really. As for the dry wet blend, this is a very, very potent plugin. It is extremely dank, right? So whenever I use drum bus, dude, I usually don't go higher than like 70%, but yeah. So whatever, we have that. Alright, next up, and we're just about done now. Right? Throw in a saturator and use digital clip. And the reason for this is digital clip will ensure that, again, audio production is so self-explanatory that no clipping will occur. Yeah, the kick sounds a bit distorted. So, oh! A phaser and saturation. A phaser and saturation. I don't know. Let's try it out. I don't really have much going on besides just, yeah. Phaser and saturation, right? So, okay. Phaser, flanger. I'm just going to use a preset. And you're saying saturation, right? So let's throw on a saturator. And I like this, I don't know, dude. I mean, when I see bass, I'm just like, damn, dude, I want this shit, right? So let's turn drive up all the way. And let's bring output down just so we don't blow our ears out. Let's see how this sounds. It's too melodic for my liking, but I appreciate the suggestion nonetheless. But then again, it's too musical. But thanks anyway. Anyway, yeah. So. I think we're just about done. We're just about done now. So I can add a grain delay, right? I mean, like, I'm not gonna add. I'm not a basic bitch, okay? I'm not gonna add like a fucking regular delay, like some fucking normie. I can add a grain delay, but I'll do that in just a sec. But yeah. Anyway, let's maybe just take a second to A/B everything, right? Let's see what our buzz sounded like without all of our EQ processing. And yeah. Weak sauce. Weak sauce. Now, with the prescribed or suggested bus processing. There you have it, my friends. There you have it. I'm I'm done with this chapter as far as I'm concerned. And let me be honest with you. At the end of the day, your mix is only going to sound, or at least your drums, or basically anything that's sampled with real instruments or like real audio samples, is it's only going to sound as good as the quality of the source tones, right? And now for a free plugin like Steven Slate, I mean, it's about as good as you could hope for, right? And props to Steven Slate himself for even making this free, right? But for professional purposes, I would not recommend using this, right? I mean, like, you should use something like, you know, GGD or Superior or even Addictive, frankly speaking. Like, this is okay for like demos and like, you know, just testing shit out and stuff, but like, this is about as good as I can make Steven Slate sound. I mean, maybe not as good. Maybe if I spend a hell of a lot more time. I'm doing most of this like just in real time. But yeah, yeah. Um, yes, Floatleaf, I'm open to Q&A. What would you like to cue me about? I just go use the bathroom. Hang on. Damn, dude, that ride cymbal is probably my least favorite. It's probably my least favorite part of all of um my least favorite part of this kit. because God, it's got way too much sustain and it's just way too overtony and uh yeah, Stevens Lake could have probably done a better job sampling it. Why am I not sampling tablas into this? Dude, the reason for that is I struggle with an identity crisis, you know. Um, I'm a product of British post-colonialism, really, and I struggle to make peace with my heritage, my identity. And as much as I often do feel this innate need to incorporate these elements that are true to my ancestry, I often don't out of fear that I will be scorned by my peers because, we live in a very, very judgmental and frankly racist world. And it is just the judgment of my peers that I fear. And there's also, this lingering element of self loathing as well. I hate myself on a subconscious level for being brown, frankly speaking. So I guess that's why I don't. I mean, maybe if we lived in an ideal world where, people weren't judged on the basis of or the bases of skin color and yeah, really just skin color, really. Maybe then I would, man. But that's the honest to God truth, my friend. But I guess that's just a very roundabout way of saying like I'm chicken shit and I hate myself. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah, yeah. Uh, all right. So I'm done with all of this drum processing shit for now. And I honestly can't even tell if it sounds good because I actually just recently got a new pair of like headphones. These are the Warm Audio cabs, I think. I got them on an insane sale. I mean, like normally I think they go for like $80, but like in Guitar Center, I was able to cop them for like 35. So I was like, it was between that or a pair of like Audio Technica M20s, and I was like, all right, let me try these out. And uh, I've only had them for like maybe a week, and I still haven't fully understood sort of what their response to sound is just like. So, yeah, yeah. Sorry if it doesn't sound that great, but still just getting used to these. Racism and drum mixing, dude. That sounds like somebody's fucking like PhD thesis, dude. Definitely not gonna be mine, man. Oh shit, man, shit. So like, what time is it right now? It's not too late. I guess I'm done with this. I mean, I can hang around for like a little while longer. I do have some commitments in actually a few hours, so like I don't mind fucking around for a little while longer. So we can do one of three things actually, and I'm gonna let you guys choose. Right? I'll let Floatleaf choose actually, or Files, or Sada Kalim if they're still here, right? So number one, we can try out Archetype Misha Mansoor, right? I'm actually very very excited, and I'm kind of anxious to try it out on another project of mine. Number two, we can we can do the tabla shit that Floatleaf was egging me on about. And number three, I can show you guys how I mixed that GGD video I did with Mr. Yusuf Rame. So if you guys are still here and if you guys still want to hang around for a little while longer, take your pick. I don't mind doing either of any of the three. Oh, I love you too, Floatleaf. C major over 12? What the fuck is 12? I'm sorry, I don't know music theory that well at all. So like uh I will take pride in knowing what a C major chord is, but like I don't know what you mean by 12. Do you mean like the interval or like what? Like but I know what a C major is. I don't know how to play a C major though. I mean like I don't know how to play any like instruments or whatever. I like to think that I do, but the truth is I don't. At least like yeah. That's what, you know, ground stark reality says. Tabla through MM plugin. Actually, you know, all jokes aside, let's check this out. Let's actually do this. Because I think we could come up with something interesting using the laser pedal. So let me actually show you sort of this tabla thing that Floatleaf is joking about. So the original sample, right? The original sample is actually in Ableton stock. And it sounds like this, right? Yeah, I think this is it. Is it it? No, this is it. This is it. So if I load this in and let's just make sure it's not warped, right? So this is the original sample. Whoops, my bad, my bad. It sounds super distorted because, yeah, that's why. Extremely ethnic sounding. I certainly can just feel my I can feel my ancestry in this. Just like listening to it, I feel like I feel like I'm having a séance with my fucking like great grandparents, right? Anyway, so I was working on a little thing with this actually not too long ago, and this is kind of what I have so far. Using the tabla, so like that tabla sample is actually the main element. I've just kind of chopped it up and fucked around with it in various places. So yeah, check this out. Yeah, that's about where I yeah, that's about where I left off. Like this drop three part, I still don't quite know what to do, but even this over here, right? This is the result of like three instances of like resampling, and like I still haven't quite figured out what to do. Yeah, I need to chop it up and do shit, and blah blah blah. Sounds like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, dude, like, stop glazing me, man. I mean, it's surely it is some of the best music known to humankind, in my opinion, but it's not like, it's not like Nusrat level good. Nusrat is like maybe a notch or two below me in terms of like, musical quality and all of that, but like, come on, dude, like, stop it, man, stop it. Anyway, so Fives wanted to run this through what do you call Misha X, right? Let's actually try it out. Also, there was some I don't know what the fuck Ableton is doing, but like something isn't quite right. Let me first address what isn't right, right? So it's what's happening here. So no, this needs to sort of like pitch down. I don't know why that isn't happening. Let's fix that for a second. Let's just take a second to maybe fix that. Why isn't that fucking... Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to... This is what it's supposed to sound like. Why does... This is not the first time this has happened. I mean, like, I don't know what the hell is the source of this. Also, like, Float Leaf, like, all jokes aside, like, does this ever happen with you where, like, you open up, like, an envelope on, especially, like, a MIDI clip, and when you try and sort of do a pitch bend, sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't, but what fixes it is just, adjusting this fucking thing. Like, I still don't understand it, but yeah. Anyway. Okay. As per Faiz's request, let's Misha this. So what I'm going to do first, just to deep fry this a little more, is I'm going to resample this part. Yeah. Sounds about right. This looks about right. Cool. And now let's throw on an instance of Archetype Misha. Yeah. And what I really want to use here is I'm going to disable... Hold on, let's see what's here. No, I want to use a laser, right? So I'm going to disable everything else except for the laser. Ooh, that's loud. Yeah, I've never used this before, so like I'm just gonna try and figure this out like in real time. So this is how you engage it. Ooh. Okay, so it's set to envelope, so I suppose that, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, actually, hold on. Let's do this. Let's play around with the panning a little bit, just for some stereo kind of business. I'm just gonna make a fucking stupid ass. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
More like this.
Okay. That's pretty cool, but let's make it even more demented. Actually, yeah. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
More like this.
Ooh, that probably no, actually, dude. This hasn't. Um, Even Vital hasn't given me these problems before. I mean, like, I think it's just like this has happened with like other plugins as well. I'm not quite sure, but like, yeah, actually, no, I'm really liking
More
this.
like this.
Cool. Okay, let's actually play around with. Let's play around with. Let's try texture and see how this might sound. Maybe, yeah. Let's fuck around with this just for a second, just to sort of see what this could give us. No, nothing useful. Maybe. Okay, let's actually pitch this down by 12 subitones and see how this sounds. Now I want to make these variations even more extreme. I like the first half. I like the first half sounds cool, but the second half could use a bit of work. Yeah, actually, what I'm gonna do for the second half is I'm going to really boost the fuck. I'm gonna actually fucking high shelf the lows on this, and maybe cut out the.
This.
Compressor here, and then let's automate this. Yeah. Yeah.
This. This.
Alright, this is actually kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
First. 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 First.
This one was cool, this one was cool.
First. 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 First.
Alright, okay, I'm actually liking this direction. I'm probably... Actually, I think I might stick with this. I'll continue this in my own free time later, because, like, I take fucking forever to, you know, do shit like this, because, yeah. You know what? Let's, before, I know I said I would stop, but, like, let's actually throw on the precision drive for a second. Why is it clipping? What the fuck? What is chaos, dude? Yeah. The sound of losing brain cells. Dog, we had no brain cells to begin with. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
More like this.
I like this actually. Let's not emphasize the stereo contrast as much, maybe. Actually, you know what? Let's try out glitch on this. I've never used glitch before. Let's see what glitch sounds like. Last thing before yeah. Yeah, let's try a glitch. What does glitch even do? I think it's like a granular kind of thing, right? Oh, cool. What the hell is this section over here? God, this plugin is stacked. Okay, I didn't want to use a flanger. I just wanted to use a reverb, or yeah, like a reverb or something.
More like this.
All right, not bad, not bad, not bad for like I guess fucking around for like 4 seconds, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with this plugin. I'm gonna save this, but I'm gonna have to play around with this plugin for a little while longer before actually incorporating this into any of like my actual music. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, as per your request, we used Archetype Bisha Batsur on tabla. Like this was like, yeah, it was all tabla. I mean, like this is all literally tabla. So, like, yeah. Anything else?
More like this.
Yeah, very well, very well, very well. All right, whoever is still here, let me know if there's anything else you'd like for me to do. Uh, music production wise, okay? Like, nothing else, okay? I hope that's self explanatory, but yeah, yeah. Bathroom break. Compare Misha to the other neurals. Okay, honestly speaking, dude, the only other neural I'm used to using at this point is Nolly. And I've only been using Nolly for maybe a few months now. And I really like Nolly. Like, I really, really do. It's not without its problems, in my opinion. Like, I think some of the IR, or I think the provided IRs aren't the greatest. Um, if you're not obsessive about like EQing and mixing and stuff, then like you might as well just download like the GGD Studio Contenders cabs. I used to have them, but I actually deleted them some time ago because I'm running out of space on this laptop, and like I was just clearing shit up, and I was like, I'm gonna get rid of those cabs. But like Nolly is really, really good as well. Like Nolly is very, very good. It's really a Swiss Army knife of sorts, in that it works well with just about everything. So that's really the only neural plugin I'm personally familiar with. Misha, I just got like 2 days ago because, as I mentioned on my story, a really good friend of mine over here, he was also running out of space on his laptop, and he was like, "Yo, do you want my Misha license?" And I was like, "Are you being serious right now?" And he was like, "Yeah," but he is a really good friend, so he gifted it to me. Regardless, I'm very grateful. But like, long story short, dude, like I cannot, I cannot give you like a comprehensive comparison of neural plugins because Nolly is the only one that I'm really familiar with. So yeah. But like, I don't know. I guess according to whatever reviews or whatever I've seen on like Reddit and like a couple of other forums on the internet, Nolly is supposed to be the most versatile of all of the neural plugins, like the jack of all trades, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the best at everything, but it is by no means ill suited to any application that you can think of, right? And yeah, I think that sounds about right because like I've tried Dolly on my own in so many different contexts, and there isn't a single one where I found that it's necessarily lacking. So like yeah, yeah. I'll play around with Misha for a while, but actually, you know what? You know what? You know what? I still have time. Let's actually let's see what we can do with Misha. Really, yeah. Did I critique your production, dude? Your production sucks, donkey cock, bro. तेरा production लंड है, bro. तू कुछ नहीं कर सकता है, bro. तू लंड है. Bro, how can I critique your production if I've never heard anything you ever made? मतलब मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं, bro? ये नहीं था, ये नहीं था, ये नहीं था, bro. अगर कुछ भेजना है कभी तो बेशक भेजो. मतलब I'd be more than happy to like hear whatever you have. Um, I'm also willing to bet you're probably better than me. I mean, like, I am certainly not the greatest or anything. But yeah, yeah. कुछ भेजो ताकि मैं कुछ बोल सकूं. Search Overlook Thighs Ali. Okay, okay, yeah, no, for sure. I'm assuming you're probably on Apple Music. Is this it? Is this it? I just want to be sure before I start streaming. All right, let's check it out. I like that production guitar you have in the background. Oh, oh, cool, cool, cool. Little stutters. Nice. Now I like what you're doing with the vocals here, man. Dude, that's honestly super cool. Like, I really dug that. Like, above all, like the vibe was really interesting and, like, all jokes aside, very unique. Like, it was kind of it's like Alice in Chains, but on a seven string, if that makes sense. You know, like that was yeah, that was really cool. I liked it. Yeah, yeah. Um, as far as production, I mean, if you want me to be straightforward with you, uh, it's lacking. I mean, it's a composition like this deserves, in my opinion, better, more impactful, punchier production. I mean, for starters, your guitar tones are a little too fizzy and a little too thin. I think they could use a little more mid range. Um, yeah, yeah, a little more mid range, maybe a little more cuts in sort of the higher frequency areas. The drums are arguably the weakest part of this composition, in my opinion. I mean, I think for something like this, you want very huge drums. And your choice of snare is, in my opinion, a little inappropriate. You want like a new metal kind of snare. Well, not a nu metal snare, but like you want like a low tune snare, right? Because you really wanted to fucking like punch through. I think you want like some impact with it, right? And the bass guitars are unfortunately not. They're barely audible, right? I mean, you could definitely um, inject some more attitude into like your bass. As for the vocals, I don't have a whole lot of criticism, at least as far as like how they're mixed, especially with like the more ambient, um, sort of the more ambient parts and like the production vocals. Like that was fucking sick. I mean, like all jokes aside, that was fucking sick. But obviously, you could use a bit of fine tuning. And yeah, no, I mean, all in all, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I think something like this is deserving of much punchier production. If you know, yeah. But yeah, no, overall, dude, like this is really sick. Like, very, very unique. Not your typical fucking, conventionally structured metalcore formula, which, frankly speaking, I've been sick of for such a long time. This was certainly more novel in that regard. But no, that was very cool, dude. I'm gonna add this as well, and maybe re-listen to it at some point. Very cool, dude. Very cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure, man. For sure. Oh, what were you using? Just out of curiosity, because like this is a production stream, right? And we're all producers here. Like, tell me, how you produce this. Like, I'm assuming you were also using Ableton, but like, what plugins were you using, and did you do this by yourself, or was this with a whole band, or like, yeah, what was the scene with it? Excellent job, dude. I mean, like, I'm far more impressed by the fact that like you did the vocals yourself. I mean, you can sing too. I mean, I wish I could, because believe me, if I could sing, like, I would not be doing instrumentals. Okay, I mean, I would be. I guess writing lyrics is one thing, but like even just like adding your voice on top of things, just as a sort of like a texture, so to speak. I would totally do that if I could, but I can't because like my singing voice is just so terrible. But okay, Gojira for guitars and Superior for drums. What did you use for bass? Because now that I think about it, I think it really was the bass that was most lacking. Yeah, I think yeah, it was the bass, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, like you can hear the low end, but like you can't really hear sort of the upper mid range, right? And I think something like this could use like an upper mid range sort of component. Yeah, totally, totally. I mean, like with vocals, at least as far as I'm aware, the more you layer, the better. In fact, there's really like no limit to how much you can layer, because the more the better, I guess, right? I'm not an expert when it comes to mixing with vocals because I work with vocals on such a seldom basis, but yeah, I think what you just said sounds about right. No, totally, totally. And dude, if you're using something like even for your guitar tones, I mean, like for your guitar tones, I mean, like if you're using something like Gojira, um, my suggestion is like maybe boost your mids a bit and cut out like hold on. Let me try and sort of pinpoint exactly where I think you might be overdoing the highs. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. No, I don't need that. Yeah, I think you might be overdoing the highs in like this region here. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, one more thing, right? At least in my ears, I don't think you've got out because your guitars are occupied way too much low end, right? So, like, I feel like you need to make a cut around this region here, you know? Oh, where the fuck was that? I'm gonna disable tape bombs. Yeah, just like got everything below like 100 hertz, really, just to be safe. And in addition to that, like if you remember, make some cuts in this region as well, you know, because like there's a lot of mud, right, and you don't want that mud, right? The mud just doesn't sound good, especially if you have like bass guitars and stuff. So like yeah, something like that, you know. But yeah, and as for like the high region, right? I feel like let's go back and try and reference your track. Yeah. There's some shit happening around. Yeah, around here at least. I think, in my opinion. Yeah, like here, roughly in this region here, right? So maybe try cutting that out. You'd be surprised, like how much of a difference just like subtractive EQing makes. I mean, it makes everything sound so. It gives so much more, like so much more clarity is afforded to like your mixes if you just cut stuff out. You know, right? So before, after, I still have a bunch of like weird shit going on that like whatever, but like you sort of get the idea, right? So like in the future when you do guitars and stuff, right? Don't hesitate to like cut shit out, right? Like don't be afraid to cut stuff out, right? In fact, like the more you cut stuff out, the more room you make for like other elements in your mix because at the end of the day, dude, you're making music, okay? Like the guitar is just like one aspect of it, right? It's just one aspect. But yeah. Tell me what you use for like your bass guitars. Like were you recording like an actual bass or were you using like a MIDI instrument? Bathroom break. Okay, you use Nolly on your bass. Okay, for bass, you don't want to use a guitar amp sim. You would want to use something if you're doing bass, right? You would want to use either if you want to do neural DSP, then you would want to use either parallax. I'm sure you know what that is, but I just kind of want to. I'm doing this for myself more than anything else. Yeah, you would want to use. Yeah, yeah, either parallax X over here. This is really the best plugin I'm aware of for like processing like modern bass, Parallax X. Dark Loss X is also I don't know a whole lot about Dark Loss Ultimate, but I know for a fact that people use it, and I've heard a couple of I've yeah, no, I've definitely heard Dark Loss in mixes as well, but Parallax is really what you want to use if you want to do bass processing, right? Unfortunately it costs 99 euros. अब मैं उर्दू में कह सकता हूँ क्योंकि मैं यूट्यूब पे बैन नहीं होना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन अगर तुम कोशिश कर सकते हो, तुम टॉरेंट करो पैरालैक्स एक्स को, मतलब मिल ही जाता है आराम से. मैं खुद भी शायद खुद भी शायद किया हुआ है ना, पढ़ा हुआ है ना. अच्छा, मेरे पास तो नहीं है, लेकिन तुम कर सकते हो अगर तुम चाहते हो. मतलब मुख्तलिफ वेबसाइट से बस सर्च करो न्यूरल डीएसपी पैरालैक्स, you know what to type in, right? So, yeah, again, I'm not sure what the scene with Dark Loss is. Is this like a whole sort of like processing suite? Like, what's the scene with it? Okay, you got preamps, you got bass, you got compressor. Acha, ठीक है, you have just about all the tools you need for comprehensive like bass processing. Okay, okay, I guess it's a full suite. Again, I don't know a whole lot about Dark Loss, but if you can get your hands on Parallax, dude, like I could not recommend anything more. I mean, this is Parallax is all you need for like modern or like any metal bass processing. Yo, Danu! Nice to see you here, Danu. How are you doing? Unfortunately, you missed all of the good stuff, man. I mean, like I was doing some drum processing right now. We're just talking about actually bass guitar processing and plugins that are available on the market to do all of that stuff. And yeah, no, I was telling Fies in the chat over here to check out a plugin called Parallax X. Neural DSP makes it, and it is truly, it's your workhorse, man. I mean, like you can achieve just about any bass tone you want with Parallax, man. It's so good, man. In fact, on the subject of bass, I was going to touch upon this. I was going to comment, or yeah, I was going to sort of address this at some point later. My plan for next week's stream really is to do bass processing, and there's a really good free plugin that I found a couple of months ago called Circuit Bass, and it's pretty good. I think it's modeled on like, yeah, like a Legator with like Fishman Fluence pickup. So like very bright, very potent. I'm not gonna do anything right now, but it's free. It's fucking free, and it admittedly does take a bit of work to adapt to a mix, but for a free plugin, like again, there's not a whole lot to really complain about. And, yeah, yeah. Yeah. What else? What else are we doing here, man? What else are we doing here? Uh, yeah. So, personally, for my bass guitars, I don't have enough physical bass, nor am I even capable of playing one. Maybe at one point I was able to, but yeah. So, I use a plugin made by Submission Audio called Umansky Bass, right? And Umansky Bass is modeled on it's modeled after this fucking behemoth of a six-string Z3 Dingwall that I was just on here, but like you see this dude over here? Oh fuck, I was just on this website. What the hell? Yeah. Yeah, literally. There was a little this dude over here, Jacob Umansky. Personally, I think he's these days like he is my favorite bass player, but like he's so fucking good, man. But like he plays for like he's the bass player for Intervals. The Intervals. Um, Fuck, how am I forgetting his full name? Aaron something. Holy shit, how am I blanking out? I've listened to too much Intervals, man. What the hell? But like, yeah, I know he plays bass for Intervals and a whole bunch of other side projects, and he's just so good. And yeah, no, Submission Audio managed to model his entire Dingwall C3, every single, and it goes all the way down to C0, so it goes low, and there's so much clarity to it, so many articulations, and I don't even use any like I don't even use parallax for this, man. I mean, like the inbuilt processing is so good as is that I just use that and like just a bit of EQing and pre-processing and shit, and it sounds fucking gnarly. I mean, like again, listen, just fucking listen to this, man. Man, there's so much you could do with it, man. I mean, like, there are options to basically sort of constrain playing to anywhere along the fretboard. I mean, like, there are key switches for that, and there's like a map for it as well, right? So, for instance, force D string, force D1, force G1, right? So, like, parts that could be played here, right? Like this. Sorry, not like this. You can force it up here, right? And like obviously, like it's the same notes, same register, but but it's a different timbre, right? Depending on where you play it along the fretboard, and that makes a huge difference. And it allows that option as well. And you have articulations for slapping, popping, harmonics, dapping, pumping, and like, oh, dude, it's unbelievably good, man. And I think pretty much every Submission Audio based library offers all of these articulations. Every library is modeled after a different instrument, but you have all these options, and it's crazy, and like it sounds so good. I mean, like check this out, man. Just listen to this, man. I'm gonna boost the fuck out of the bass for a second. Yeah. Sounds so good, man. I mean, like, God, I love Lubatsky bass, man. No, you're right. You're right. It does. It does. I mean, at the end of the day, like these are VST instruments, but I guess I think there is a way around that. Actually, like there is a way to actually introduce sort of those peculiarities that are unique to human playing, right? And that's if you go to like the humanize option, right? So I Okay, compare maybe something like this, right? So like, this is basically and compare that to like, the other extremity. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm definitely not hearing any string noise, but I'm certainly hearing variations in velocity and everything, right? So I usually tend to keep it around the threshold between human and bassist. I think I kept it closer to human. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't sound organic. It doesn't sound real. But like, who gives a fuck, man? If it sounds good, it sounds good. I mean, like, it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. Okay, at least none of this is fucking AI generated. Okay, I didn't use Suno to make any of this shit, dude. But yeah. Uh, all right. Last thing I'm gonna do, and then I need to. I just never go. Dude, the only things I know how to physically play are the guitar. Okay, that's the only instrument I'm like, quote unquote, like good at to the point where like, I can record in real time. I can play the drums as well, but like I never, at least on my own music, I don't fucking play drums. I program drums, right? As for bass, I've completely forgotten how to play bass. I've that dexterity is just gone. I haven't touched a bass guitar in years. And yeah, that's really about it, man. I mean, like the guitar is the only thing I can do, dude. Ain't nothing fucking wrong with that, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, hell, dude, program your guitars for all I care, dude. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Who gives a shit? Like, who gives a fuck? Okay, just as long as it's not fucking AI generated, like it's all good, right? Yeah. But anyway, so like, before I conclude this stream, right? I do kind of want to sort of What the fuck do I have going on here? Oh shit. Okay, so the very first post I made on this page over here, like there was some like orchestral shit going on. It was like memes and stuff, and this is I'll show you guys this. I mean, I think you'll fuck with this, but like yeah. Yeah, that was a little silly thing I did. At some point in the future, like I'll definitely get to like programming like orchestras and shit. Oh, how am I keeping the bass out of the guitars? Oh, ooh, Danu. We're getting ahead of ourselves here, my friend. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here, dude. There are a couple of ways to do it, man. There are a couple of ways to keep the bass from interfering with the guitars, right? There are several ways. First of all, it comes down to how you EQ stuff, right? I mean, like you need to sort of EQ. Um, man, I mean, yes. All right. Danu opened this can of worms, so like, I guess we're just gonna stick with it. No. Actually, wait a second. It's all on one project. What the hell am I doing? There's no need for that. Yeah. Okay. So, let me first show you what I have going on my guitar track. I should have all of this in here. Okay. First of all, these are new headphones. Okay, I got them like a week ago, and I'm still getting used to how they sound. So at least to my ears, it certainly sounds like the guitars are much higher than they should be. But on my other previous pair of headphones, it sounded fine. So I might distract myself every once in a while. So please bear with me, right? Okay. So let me first show you what I have going on with the guitars, right? So these are just raw DIs. Let me just get rid of all of this shit for a second and show you just what the DIs sound like. Not the cleanest of gigs, and that isn't even with regard to like sort of the sort of dexterity of like my own playing, but that's because like my interface is kind of fucked and a little noisy. I need to get it repaired actually sometime next week. But yeah, that's DIs. And with processing, let me just run you through what I'm using. So just a tuner because my guitar goes out of tune all the time. I'm using Neural DSP's Archetype Nolly, and yeah. So obviously, everything is like double tracked. Um, one take panned hard left, one take panned hard right. And what's nice about these Neural DSP plugins is that they offer a stereo input option, so there's no need to, do one instance of a mono or one instance of a plugin on each track. It saves a bit of CPU, and as for the amp section, these are the settings I'm using. You can just take a second to see what I'm doing. This amp is modeled after, I think, a BV. Yeah, it's modeled after a BV 5150. Yeah, yeah. So, just take a second to see what I'm doing here. And yeah. Oh, sorry. Pedals. Um, this is sort of my pedal section over here. Not a whole lot happening. Using a fair deal of compression. Because for like modern metal music, you need your guitars to sound very, very snappy. So you just boost the hell out of compression. And as for the overdrive, yeah, I guess these are the settings I'm using. I think this overdrive is, I don't think it's modeled after Tube Screamer. It's something else. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I guess I'm just using this overdrive like little to no, like no drive, lots of tone just for like brightness because like you need brightness in your tone. And there's a second overdrive as well that's included in Archetype Nolly. I personally have never really found a use for it to this very day, but maybe for a different style of music, I don't know. So like, yeah, that's what I have happening in my pedal section, all before the amp. This is the amp. Oh, that's my cabs. I don't know what the cab is modeled after, frankly speaking. I genuinely don't know. I'm gonna have one might have to look this up, but I can't tell you what mics I'm using. I'm using a Shure SM57, right? And it's placed around here, and some condenser. I think this condenser might be a Newman. I'm pretty sure it's a Newman, but it's placed around here. But I'm using two microphones for this particular chain that I have here. Sort of these positional parameters over here. I'll go ahead and take a quick look. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'm not using the provided EQ. I prefer to EQ things myself because I am a control freak and I'm not using any of these post effects over here, right? Now that was a bit long-winded, right? Anyway, so as for EQing, just pay attention to just how over the top this curve is, right? Just take a second to see how kind of fucked this is. Just give me 1 sec. I'm gonna use the bathroom. Yeah, no, this is a very, very it's a very OCD-ish kind of EQ curve, but I'm cutting out a lot of shit. First of all, I always make cuts over here. I almost always make cuts within this region and this region over here, right? I mean, like this sort of 500 to 900 to even 1,000 hertz region, I make cuts on for just about everything, right? This I felt was just necessary because of harsh resonances. Yeah. Then let's see what do I have going on here? Right. So here's a bit of multi-band compression going on over here, and this is really just to deal with like palm mutes, right? Because for this style of music, right, there's lots of palm mutes happening, and like when you palm mute as aggressively as like you do in like modern metal and that stuff, right? They can kind of get out of control and start interfering with your bass guitars, which we'll come to in just a second, right? So what's happening with this tame palm mutes over here, I can just quickly show you. Yeah, let's just take this part. So this is a super staccatoed, bomb muted like nobody's fucking business, right? And I have this multi-band compressor over here, and just I hope you're wearing headphones right now, because otherwise you won't be able to tell the difference. But without it, this is what it would sound like. And with it, to my ears, a lot of differences being made here, right? Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just soloing out a single band over here, right? Corresponding to frequencies between, it shouldn't even be 30, honestly. It should be more like, yeah, more like 90-ish, right? And then anything beyond 350 is, yeah, 350 is fine, right? So really, the spectrum that I'm targeting is this one. That's where the meat of like all the palm muting lies, right? And I'm applying pretty, not very aggressive compression, honestly, just about negative 2.5 decibels worth. My attack time shouldn't even be this much. It should be lower than this, because like remember, the more attack time, the more transients, and we don't want the transients. Let's bring this down a bit. As for release time, again, release time is always an iffy thing. Yeah, I think 102 was fine. In fact, I don't mind being a little more aggressive. I'm just increasing the ratio. So let's do 4 decibels of gain reduction, roughly. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah. So you hear the difference, right? Okay, cool. So you hear the difference then, definitely, right? Again, this. It's also doing a bit of work in like stabilizing some of the high end, but like so yeah, no, I have some multi-band compression going on this and that. What's happening over here? What the fuck is happening here? Oh yeah, I'm doing some more cuts over here. I'm very big on subtractive EQing, just to reiterate, man. Like, I cannot reiterate enough how, at least as far as my workflow is concerned, how important subtractive EQing is. The more you cut, the more room you give to other elements in your mix, right? And then just a bit of saturation over here, right? I mean, like, I am literally I'm compensating for the amount of drive that I'm giving it. In fact, yeah, that's a bit much, actually. Yeah, it's too much, man. I shouldn't have done -10. You know, like, Yeah, mine 5 is fine. So I'm gonna compensate accordingly. So yeah. Now, I felt it was necessary to first go over like, the guitar processing chain before the bass, just so we have some context. And let me explain to you what I'm doing with my bass, right? Might as well show you what's happening with the ground up, right? So I actually have three sort of individual components for my bass guitars, and it's all Umansky bass, the same plugin I was showing earlier, right? My clean grid, I shouldn't even. Okay, I don't know why I have the clean grid enabled. I shouldn't. I mean, the clean grid is usually what I use for non-distorted guitar sections, but whatever. Yeah. So dirty grit is really sort of the high end and upper mid range of the bass, right? I kind of do it in this way, which is not unconventional in any respect, right? You basically take at least two copies of your bass, and you split them in such a way where you use one for, again, the upper mid range and high end, and you use one. So the upper mid range high end sounds like this. Whoops. Yeah. And then you do one for your subs. So I made this preset like such a long time ago, and I realized that there's so much more work I need to do on this. Right, so basically, for the grit part, right? I mean, it depends on what you're using. You can use a physical instrument, you can use a virtual instrument. It shouldn't really matter. For Umansky bass, I find the grit works really well, and I'm using these settings, right? And yeah, no, I'm blending it in with sort of this clean grit thing that I have going on. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, I would blend it in with this clean, this sub, right? And together they sound like this. And then now to get to your question, how do I get everything to sit together? Well, just make sure you're cutting parts where the guitar is prominent, right? So everything you're seeing over here is the EQing applied to both the grit and the subs, and is the perfect antithesis to what's happening with the guitars, right? I mean, you have to carve things out accordingly, right? I mean, yeah. Again, lots of cuts, blah, blah, blah. Wait. Dirty grit, sub. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, so the sub gotta get its own EQ. I mean, like, just boost subs, make cuts. As for grit, you don't want any subs, you just want, like, upper mid-range shit. Make sure to make cuts. And what else do I have going on here? Yeah, really, not really anything else. And then, like, on the actual bus itself, let's see. Just some pretty standard compression, bit of EQing, a bit of a low shelf here, a bit of, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Another important thing with bass is make sure you apply lots of compression for the sub frequencies, because if you don't, it's going to sound super muddy, right? So I've got a multi-band compressor enabled for that, and then I have parallel compression, and like, oh, dude, like I'm getting way ahead of myself. But yeah. Long story short, just make sure you EQ things in such a way where your bass guitars are not interfering with your actual guitars, right? Just carve things accordingly. But yeah, dude, yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, like I have a hell of a lot more to say, but I was actually planning on saving bass guitar processing for like another stream altogether. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I come around to doing this stuff. But yeah. Dude, I'm out of booze right now, man. I need to go get some more booze, man. All right, man. I think I'm just about done for today. I've been on this grind for like almost 3 hours now, man. I got some shit to do in, oh fuck, about 20-ish minutes actually. On that note, whoever was here today, thank you for tuning in. Uh, yeah, no, absolutely, man. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you here next time. We'll definitely do a very deep dive into like bass guitar processing. That is actually the next thing on the agenda. Anyway, folks, take it easy, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day and a good night. And yeah.